17 Tiny Habits That Made Me Rich. 3 years ago, I stumbled upon a life-changing secret. Success isn't about pushing yourself to the extreme, waking up at 4 a.m. every day to outwork the competition or taking daily ice baths to shock your senses. The real key lies in something much simpler: building micro-habits. These are tiny, consistent actions that, over time, compound to create significant changes. They don't just transform your finances, they can also elevate your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. In this video, I'll share 17 micro-habits that have completely changed my life, not only improving my finances but also transforming other aspects of my daily routine. I'll also provide tips to help you implement them into your own life. Let's dive in with habit number 1, create more than you consume. 1. Creating more than you consume. According to Thomas Corley, author of Rich Habits, The Daily Success Habits of Wealthy Individuals, the wealthiest people in the world focus on creating more than they consume. His research revealed that 67% of wealthy individuals watch TV for an hour or less each day, compared to 77% of those struggling financially, who tend to watch for more than an hour daily. Instead of spending hours glued to a screen, consider how you can shift your focus toward creating something meaningful. When you create, you develop your knowledge, skills, and experience far more effectively than through passive consumption. To build a habit of creating, start small, just 15 minutes a day doing something you enjoy. This could mean launching that YouTube channel you've been thinking about, writing short stories, or even learning basic coding through fun, interactive apps. To stay on track, conduct regular audits of how much time you spend creating versus consuming. The goal? Always ensure you're creating more than you're consuming. Now let's move on to habit number 2, create distance from the wrong people. 2. Creating distance from the wrong people. There's a saying that goes, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with," and it really struck a chord with me. I can't stress this enough: if you're surrounded by people who spend their time gossiping, complaining, or tearing others down, it's crucial to create distance from that. Why? Because when you're constantly around negative energy, it seeps into your own mindset, making it incredibly difficult to create meaningful, positive changes in your life. You can often gauge how successful someone will be by the kind of problems they face. Surround yourself with people whose challenges are about building wealth, solving problems, or overcoming obstacles, not petty issues or negativity. Of course, this can be tough when you're just starting out. I know when I was trying to break into new circles a couple of years ago, I didn't have immediate access to those kinds of environments. So, I turned to books, podcasts, and YouTube channels to become my circle. Thanks to the internet, it's easier than ever to shift your average and tap into new, inspiring influences. Now, let's revisit habit number 3, create. 3. Documenting achievements. I use a tool I call the "I can do this" file, and it's been a game changer. Whenever I accomplish something significant or hit an important milestone, I record it. If I'm paralyzed by fear or doubt before starting something new, I write that down too. For example, I still remember how nerve-wracking my first live session on this channel was. But I pushed through. I documented everything, from the fear and self-doubt I felt beforehand, to how I felt afterward, to the positive feedback I received and how well it was received overall. All of these entries go into a tab in my Notion workspace labeled "I can do this." It's my personal motivation tool, reminding me of what I've overcome and what I'm capable of. Life has its ups and downs, and on those inevitable tough days, revisiting this file gives me the boost I need to keep going and aim higher. Now, let's talk about habit number 4, show gratitude. 4. Practicing gratitude. I used to think gratitude journaling was kind of cheesy, until I came across Dr. Sophia Godkin's work. She emphasizes that the secret to happiness begins with gratitude, and that really changed my perspective. So, I decided to give it a try and started keeping a gratitude journal. Every evening at 8 p.m., I get a notification from the Day One app. I like using my phone for this because it's convenient. When the reminder pops up, I can quickly add an entry. I usually pair it with a photo I've taken that day, or I snap one in the moment, and then jot down the highlights of my day and what I'm grateful for. It doesn't have to be anything big. It could be something as small as enjoying the perfect cup of coffee, receiving a thoughtful message from a friend, or making it to the gym. Over time, I've realized that your mind attracts what you focus on. When you actively look for the good in your day, your outlook starts to shift. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, I'm always looking for the little things that went right. If you want to try it, set a 5-minute evening reminder and write down one thing you're grateful for each day. If you're like me and prefer digital over paper, I highly recommend checking out the Day One app. Now, let's move on to habit number 5, automate these two things. 5. Automating savings and investments. Warren Buffett famously said, "Do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving." I take this advice a step further by including investments in the equation. My version: do not save and invest what is left after spending, spend what is left after saving and investing. To make this work, I've set up a system where a fixed portion of my income is automatically transferred to my savings and investment accounts each month, before I even get the chance to spend a single penny. This approach has helped me in two major ways. First, it ensures that I consistently grow my finances without the hassle of remembering to make manual transfers, especially when life gets busy. Second, automating these transfers significantly reduces the temptation to make impulse purchases, like those limited-time-only deals that often don't seem so great once you take a step back. Now, let's move on to habit number 6, get specific. 6. Setting specific financial goals. Every year, without fail, I write down one big financial goal. But here's the key: I make it as specific as possible. Why? Because the more specific your goal is, the more likely you are to achieve it. For example, instead of saying something vague like, "I will save more money," I set a clear and detailed intention, like, "I will save $30,000 for a down payment on my forever home by the end of 2027. Being specific not only keeps me motivated, but it also helps me break down my goals into smaller, more manageable milestones. In this case, saving $30,000 by the end of 2027 means I would need to set aside $1,250 each month for the next 2 years. This kind of clarity makes the goal feel achievable, one step at a time. Now, let's move on to habit number 7, audit these 3 buckets. 7. Auditing your spending. Auditing my spending has become a cornerstone habit for me, quarterly for my business and monthly, sometimes even weekly, for my personal accounts. I break down every expense into 3 buckets. Fundamental, essential needs. Fun, lifestyle choices. Future, investments in growth and the person I want to become. This isn't just about tracking my money, it's about intentional living. I use an intentional spending tracker that shows me, in real time, how I'm doing against my goals. It tells me if I'm over or under budget and exactly how much I have left to spend. To me, it's like having a financial compass, always pointing me in the right direction. I saw someone on TikTok compare budgeting to being on a strict diet, but I actually think it's the opposite. Budgeting is empowering. No matter how much you earn, having clarity about where your money is going gives you the confidence to make informed financial decisions. If you'd like to try my intentional spending tracker, it's completely free. It's an easy way to categorize your expenses, spot areas where you might be overspending, and know exactly how much you have left to spend each month to stay aligned with your goals. Now, let's talk about habit number 8, learn something new about money weekly. 8. Learning about money weekly. You've probably heard the saying, knowledge is power. But Warren Buffett takes it a step further: the more you learn, the more you earn. That's why I set aside just 1 hour every week, sometimes during my lunch break, sometimes after dinner, to learn something new about money. It's not a huge commitment, but it makes a meaningful difference over time. Right now, I'm diving into behavioral finance, exploring how our early experiences shape our money mindset. It's fascinating to learn how events from as young as age 7 can influence whether someone becomes a confident investor or feels anxious about spending. The thing is, there's always something new to learn when it comes to money. Whether it's discovering a new investment tool, understanding how to negotiate better, or uncovering patterns in financial behavior, every bit of knowledge adds up. These small lessons can open doors you didn't even know existed. Now let's move on to habit number 9, stop caring about opinions. 9. Overcoming the fear of opinions. It's natural to care about the opinions of others to some degree. Breaking free from that mindset is one of the toughest habits to develop. But once you do, everything changes. You start venturing out of your comfort zone, taking bigger risks, and focusing more on what truly matters to you. One thing that helped me stop caring too much about what others think was asking myself a simple question: in the grand scheme of achieving my life's goals, how important is this person's opinion? If the answer is not very important or something along those lines, I shift my focus back to my goals. It allows me to stay laser-focused on what I want to achieve and how I want to achieve it, guided by my own values, not the opinions of others. Now, let's dive into habit number 10, understanding the yes trap. 10. Understanding the yes trap. Learning to say no has been one of the hardest habits for me to develop. According to research published by Psychology Today, I'm not alone. Most of us struggle with this to some degree, and it's what psychologists call the yes trap. The yes trap is that deep-rooted feeling that we should say yes to requests, invitations, and opportunities, even when we're already stretched too thin. But the consequences can be serious. It can lead to burnout, resentment, and neglecting self-care. And there's another big downside: missed opportunities. By saying yes to everything, we often lose out on pursuing the things that actually align with our goals and values. What helped me escape the yes trap was crystallizing my goals. When you get really clear on what you want to achieve, it becomes so much easier to say no to anything that doesn't serve those goals. Here's how to break free. Step 1. Get crystal clear on your goals. Step 2. Whenever a new request comes in, ask yourself, will this help me achieve my goals, or is it just a distraction? Now let's talk about habit number 11, invest in yourself. 11. Investing in yourself. I always say that the best investment you can make isn't in stocks, commodities, or even real estate, it's in yourself. Why? Because the returns on investing in yourself compound over time, just like financial investments. The benefits grow and build upon each other, creating lasting value in your life. Whether it's pursuing education, improving your fitness, or prioritizing self-care, putting yourself first is always a smart and sound investment. When you invest in yourself, you're setting the foundation for success in every other area of your life. 12. Diversifying income streams. Why focus on multiple income streams? For 2 key reasons. A. Most millionaires have multiple sources of income, it's a cornerstone of building wealth. B. If one income source takes a hit, the others can help make up the difference, keeping your cash flow steady and healthy. Today, my online income comes from a mix of brand sponsorships, affiliate marketing, YouTube AdSense, investments, and my own products. If you're wondering how to create your own second income stream, start by taking stock of your skills, experience, and interests. Think about how you might be able to monetize them. I even have another video that goes into more detail about ways to monetize your passion. But here's one important tip: resist the urge to create multiple income streams all at once. Start with one, focus on building it until it's self-sustaining, and then explore other opportunities from there. Now, let's move on to habit number 13, simplify decision-making. 13. Simplifying decision-making. Steve Jobs was famous for his iconic black turtleneck, blue jeans, and New Balance sneakers. Later, Mark Zuckerberg adopted a similar approach, often seen in his signature gray t-shirt and jeans. The idea behind their wardrobe choices was simple: reduce decision fatigue. By eliminating the need to think about what to wear, they saved their decision-making energy for more important matters. I've applied this concept to my own life by sticking to a select few outfits during my working hours, especially when filming content. Automating small, repetitive tasks like this has significantly reduced friction, making it easier for me to sit down and get to work. It's also saved me a lot of time, and a surprising amount of money. Think about areas in your own life where you could streamline processes to free up time and energy for the things that truly matter. Now let's move on to habit number 14, network with intent. 14. Networking with intent. I recently did a podcast with Chris Donnelly, who launched a new business and made $10 million in his first year. During our conversation, he shared a key insight. He went through a phase in his business where he reached out to over 50 people a month or asked others to introduce him to someone. He stressed the importance of the who factor, the idea that success is often about who you know and connect with. While I already understood the value of networking, the way he scaled his business really drove the point home for me. Since then, I've become much more intentional about putting myself out there and reaching out to people I'd love to connect with. You never know who might unlock a new opportunity or offer a fresh perspective that changes everything. One important thing to remember: it's not just about what you can get, it's also about what you can give. If you want to stand out, think about how you can add value to the person you're reaching out to. By being intentional and focusing on mutual value, you can build relationships that open incredible opportunities, whether immediately or further down the road. Now, let's move on to habit number 15, take action before you feel ready. 15. Taking action before feeling ready. There's never a perfect time to start something new. You'll never feel 100% ready, and waiting for tomorrow often turns into waiting forever. That's why, whenever a good idea comes to mind, I do my best not to procrastinate. I take a leap of faith and get the first step underway. Sometimes, this approach leads to a big win. Other times, I make mistakes, but those mistakes teach me valuable lessons. And that's okay. It's all part of the learning process. The key takeaway here is to trust your instincts and take that first step, even if you don't feel ready. Progress comes from action, not waiting for the perfect moment. Now let's dive into habit number 16, ask the questions. 16. Asking questions about money. Research shows that over 45% of Americans avoid talking about money with their family, friends, or even their spouse or partner. Yet, the same research reveals that 66% of Americans believe discussing money is essential for achieving financial freedom. The reality is, most people feel uncomfortable talking about money. But if you want to reach your financial goals, it's something you need to do more often. These conversations aren't about comparing yourself to others, they're about understanding financial values, learning strategies, and gaining new perspectives. Starting these conversations doesn't have to be awkward or intrusive. A simple, open-ended question like, "I've been thinking about budgeting lately, how do you manage yours?" can get the ball rolling. The next time you're with a friend, try a casual financial conversation starter and be ready to share your own experiences as well. Now, let's move on to habit number 17, the 1% progress rule. This is all about making small, consistent improvements to your financial situation each month. 17. the 1% progress rule. This could mean saving a little more, cutting back on unnecessary expenses, or finding creative ways to increase your income. Here's the thing, even a small 1% improvement every month can lead to meaningful results over time. By focusing on small, consistent changes, you're setting yourself up for long-term financial success without feeling overwhelmed. Stay consistent, and you'll be amazed at how those small changes compound into big progress. Give it a try, and see the difference it makes. Conclusion. And there you have it, 17 micro habits that can change your life forever. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps support the channel and allows me to keep creating more content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.